Getting fired was bad. Getting fired in front of the father of the child she'd just spent 2 hours helping was worse. But when that same father, a man who looked like he could buy the entire aquarium without blinking, dropped to one knee and proposed marriage right there on the spot, Serafina realized her day had gone from bad to absolutely insane. She should have said no. She should have walked away. But the little girl was smiling for the first time in hours, and Serafina had always been terrible at making sensible decisions. Vance Serafina knew she was about to be fired the moment Director Kim walked into the aquarium with that look on her face. The look that said, "You're done here." But Serafina couldn't move. Not yet. The little girl sitting cross-legged in front of the jellyfish tank needed her more than she needed her job, her visa, or her dignity. "Sua," Serafina whispered, crouching down beside the 7-year-old. "Can you hear me?" The child rocked back and forth, hands pressed tight over her ears. The other students from Hanul Academy had already left on the bus an hour ago. Serafina had sent them with Teacher Park, choosing to stay behind with Sua instead. "Miss Vance," Director Kim's voice cut through the quiet aquarium like a blade. "The bus left without you. I know. You abandoned 23 students for one child." Serafina didn't look up. She pulled out her notebook and a pencil, sliding them gently toward Sua. The little girl's rocking slowed, just a fraction. "I sent them with Teacher Park," Serafina said calmly. "The students are safe. Sua is not. This is unacceptable. What's unacceptable is leaving a child in distress." Director Kim's heels clicked closer. "Your contract will be terminated effective immediately. Gather your things from the school tomorrow." Serafina's heart dropped into her stomach, but her hand stayed steady. She drew a simple jellyfish on the paper, then slid it closer to Sua. The little girl's fingers uncurled slowly. She picked up the pencil. "Did you hear me, Miss Vance?" "I heard you." "Then stand up and show some respect." In a minute. The director sucked in a sharp breath, but before she could speak, another voice entered the conversation. "Leave." It was a man's voice, deep, calm, dangerous. Serafina finally looked up. He stood near the entrance of the jellyfish exhibit, hands in his pockets. Mid-30s maybe, dark hair styled back, strong jawline, expensive black coat. But it wasn't his looks that made her pause. It was the way Director Kim's face went pale. "Mr. Jung," the director stammered, "I was just handling a situation with one of our teachers. I said leave." Director Kim bowed so fast she nearly folded in half, then scurried away like a mouse escaping a cat. The man walked closer, and Serafina instinctively shifted, placing herself between him and Sua. He stopped. Something flickered in his eyes. Surprise, maybe. "You're the teacher," he said. "Serafina Vance. And you are?" "Jung Do-yun." He glanced past her at the little girl, his entire face softened. "Sua's father?" "Oh. Oh no." Serafina stood quickly, brushing off her pants. "Mr. Jung, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. The school didn't mention anyone was coming." They didn't know. His eyes moved to his daughter, who was now drawing on the paper. "What happened?" The sounds got too loud. Too many children talking at once, the water pumps, the announcements. She got overwhelmed. "And you stayed?" "Of course. For 2 hours." Serafina blinked. "How did you know?" "I've been watching." He nodded toward the security camera in the corner, then pulled out his phone. The screen showed the aquarium's security feed. "I was notified when she had the episode. I saw everything." A cold feeling crept up Serafina's spine. "You saw everything?" "Including your firing." She swallowed hard. "Then you know I need to leave now." "No." "Excuse me." Jung Do-yun's gaze locked onto hers, and for a moment, Serafina forgot how to breathe. There was something intense in his stare. like he was looking straight through her walls and defenses. "Stay there," he said, then walked around her carefully, giving Soo-ah plenty of space. He sat down on the floor, which was shocking for a man in a coat that definitely cost a fortune. Soo-ah looked up briefly, recognized him, then went back to drawing. She'd drawn a jellyfish, a pretty good one, actually. "Soo-ah," he said gently. "Ready to go home?" The little girl pointed at Serafina. "You want her to come?" Soo-ah nodded. Jong Do-yoon looked up at Serafina, and she saw something in his expression that she couldn't quite name. "Miss Vance," he said, "I'd like to offer you a job. I appreciate it, but I can't accept favors." "It's not a favor. It's a contract." He stood smoothly. "Soo-ah needs a full-time educator, someone who understands her, someone she trusts." "Mr. Jong, I'm sure there are many qualified people." "There are, but my daughter chose you." Serafina looked at Soo-ah, who was now drawing a second jellyfish next to the first one. Something in her chest ached. "What kind of contract?" she asked carefully. "Come to my office tomorrow, 9 in the morning." He pulled out a business card and held it out. She took it. The card was simple, black with white text. Jong Do-yoon, a phone number, an address in Gangnam. "I'll think about it," she said. "Good." He crouched down again. "Soo-ah, time to go." The little girl looked at the jellyfish tank one more time, then carefully folded the paper with her drawings and stood up. She walked to her father, slipped her hand into his, then looked back at Serafina. Then she smiled. It was small, barely there, but it was real. Serafina's throat tightened. Jong Do-yoon saw her expression and nodded slightly, like he understood. 9 tomorrow, he repeated. Then they left. Serafina stood alone in the aquarium, holding a business card, unemployed, and completely confused about what had just happened. Before we continue, if you're already hooked and want to see where this wild ride goes, hit that like button and drop a comment telling me what you think Serafina should do. Should she take the mysterious job offer or run the other way? Let me know below. The next morning, Serafina stood outside the tallest building she'd ever seen in Gangnam, rechecking the address on the business card for the 5th time. This had to be wrong. The building was all glass and steel, the kind of place where people made million-dollar deals before lunch. She was wearing her best interview outfit, a navy blazer and black pants, but she still felt underdressed. A security guard approached. "Can I help you?" "I'm here to see Jong Do-yoon. I have an appointment." The guard's expression changed instantly. He bowed. 23rd floor. The private elevator is to your left." Private elevator? Serafina walked through the lobby, hyper-aware of people glancing at her. A black woman in a building full of businessmen in Seoul definitely stood out, but she kept her chin up. The elevator ride was silent and fast. When the doors opened, she stepped into a hallway with exactly one door at the end. A woman in a crisp white blouse stood waiting. "Miss Vance?" "Yes." "Mr. Jong is expecting you. Please follow me." The office inside was massive but surprisingly warm. Wooden furniture, soft lighting, a shelf full of books, and photographs, lots of them. All of Soo-ah. Jong Do-yoon sat behind a desk, reading something on his tablet. He looked up when she entered. "You came?" "I'm curious," Serafina admitted, "but I'm also confused. What exactly do you do, Mr. Jong?" "Import and export, investments, properties." "That's vague." His lips twitched, almost a smile. "Sit." "Please." She sat. He slid a folder across the desk. "The contract." Serafina opened it and started reading. Her eyes went wider with every line. $200,000 a year, visa sponsorship, housing provided, full medical benefits. "This is insane," she said. "It's fair." "For what? Teaching one child?" "For being live-in," he corrected. Sua needs consistency, routine, someone who understands her triggers and can help her navigate them. Serafina looked up. Live in? As in, I'd move into your house? Yes. That's completely inappropriate. Which is why the contract includes a second clause. He tapped the folder. Page 3. She flipped to it and froze. Marriage clause. You want me to marry you, she said slowly. A legal arrangement. It provides cover for you living in my home without causing a scandal. In Korea, appearances matter. This is crazy. It's practical. Serafina stood up. Mr. Jong, I don't know what kind of person you think I am, but I'm not signing a fake marriage contract with a stranger. Even if it saves your visa, she stopped. He leaned back in his chair. Your work visa was tied to Hanul Academy. Director Kim has already filed the termination paperwork. You have 30 days before you're required to leave Korea. How do you know that? I make it my business to know things. His eyes never left hers. You moved here 3 years ago. You learned Korean fluently. You built a life. I'm offering you a way to keep it. By marrying you. By helping my daughter. Serafina's hands shook slightly. She hated that he was right. She'd worked so hard to build a life in Seoul, to prove herself, to create something meaningful. Why me? She asked quietly. You could hire anyone. Someone Korean. Someone who'd fit into your world easier. Sua smiled at you. His voice softened. She hasn't smiled at anyone outside family in 2 years, not since her mother died. The weight of that statement settled in the room. Serafina sat back down slowly. I'm sorry. Don't be. Just consider the offer. She looked at the contract again. 2 years. Renewable. Separate bedrooms. Professional boundaries clearly defined, financial security, and a little girl who needed help. If I say yes, Serafina said carefully, I have conditions. Name them. I want full autonomy over Sua's educational plan, no interference. Agreed. I want access to any medical or psychological records so I can understand her needs completely. Done. And if at any point this arrangement isn't working for Sua, we end it. Her well-being comes first. Jong Do-yoon studied her for a long moment. You really care. I'm a teacher. It's what I do. No. He shook his head. Most teachers would have gotten on that bus. You're different. I just did what was right. Exactly. The way he looked at her made her stomach flip. She pushed the feeling away. I need time to think, she said. You have 24 hours. He stood and extended his hand. Whatever you decide, thank you for helping Sua yesterday. His hand was warm and strong. Serafina shook it once, then let go quickly. I'll call you tomorrow, she said. But as she rode the elevator back down, she already knew what her answer would be. That evening, Serafina sat in her tiny apartment in Itaewon, staring at the contract on her coffee table. Her phone rang. Her best friend, Maya, calling from Atlanta. Hey, girl. Maya's voice was bright. How's Seoul? Complicated. Oh, what happened? Serafina told her everything. The aquarium, the firing, the proposal. Maya was silent for a long moment. Let me get this straight, Maya finally said. A rich Korean man wants to pay you $200,000 a year to teach his daughter and marry him. It's not a real marriage. Serafina, that's literally a K-drama plot. I know it sounds wild. Wild? Baby, it sounds dangerous. You don't know this man. I know he loves his daughter. That's not enough. What if he's involved in something shady? What if this whole thing is a setup? Serafina had thought about that. Then I walk away. Can you, though? If you sign that contract, you're tied to him for 2 years. The contract has exit clauses, written by his lawyers. Maya sighed. Look, I'm not trying to be negative, but you're a black woman alone in Korea about to legally bind yourself to a stranger. Please be careful. I will. Promise me you'll do a background check or something. I promise." After they hung up, Serafina opened her laptop and started searching. Jung Do-yun's name brought up surprisingly little. A few business articles, mentions of investments and property deals. Nothing scandalous, but also nothing personal. The man was a ghost. She was about to close the laptop when she found one article from 5 years ago. A small piece about a wedding. Jung Do-yun and Lee Hai-wan. The photo showed a younger Do-yun smiling beside a beautiful woman in a wedding dress. Serafina scrolled down and found another article from 3 years ago. Tragic accident claims. Life of Lee Hai-wan. Her heart sank as she read. Car accident. Instant death. Soo-ah had been in the car too, but survived with minor injuries. No wonder the little girl struggled. No wonder her father was so protective. Serafina closed the laptop and looked at the contract again. This wasn't just about a job. This was about a family that had been broken and was trying to heal. She picked up her phone and dialed the number on the business card. He answered on the first ring. "Miss Vance, I have one more condition. Tell me. If we do this, we do it right. I'm not just an employee. I'm part of Soo-ah's life. That means honesty. No secrets about her care, her history, or anything that might affect her. Agreed. And you have to trust me, even when my methods seem strange or unconventional. I trust you already." Something in his voice made her pause. "Why?" "You stayed at that aquarium. You put her first without hesitation. That's all I need to know." Serafina took a deep breath. "Then my answer is yes." Silence. Then, "Thank you. When do we start?" "The marriage registration is tomorrow. We'll keep it private for now. You can move in this weekend." "That fast?" "Soo-ah starts back at school on Monday. I'd like you settled before then." Everything was moving at lightning speed, but somehow it felt right. "Okay," Serafina said. "I'll be ready." Serafina. It was the first time he'd used her first name. "You won't regret this." "I hope not." The next day, Serafina found herself at a government office in Seoul, signing marriage papers next to a man she'd known for less than 48 hours. The clerk looked bored as she processed their documents. Witnesses. 2 people stepped forward. A tall man with sharp eyes and a shorter man with glasses. Both bowed slightly to Serafina. "This is Hanjae and Min Seo," Do-yun said. "They work for me." "Nice to meet you," Serafina said in Korean. Hanjae's eyebrows rose. "Your Korean is excellent." "Thank you." Min Seo smiled. "Soo-ah will be happy." The clerk stamped the final paper. "Congratulations. You're legally married." It was the strangest moment of Serafina's life. No white dress, no flowers, no family, just signatures on paper and a transaction that changed everything. Do-yun shook the clerk's hand, then turned to Serafina. "Lunch?" "Sure." They ended up at a quiet restaurant tucked away in a side street. Private room, expensive-looking dishes that Serafina couldn't pronounce. "Order whatever you like," Do-yun said. "I have no idea what half of this is." The corner of his mouth lifted. "Trust me?" "Professionally." Fair enough. He ordered for both of them in rapid Korean. When the waiter left, an awkward silence settled. "So," Serafina said, "we're married. Legally." "This is weird." "Very." She laughed despite herself. "Does Soo-ah know?" "I told her this morning. I said you'd be living with us to help her learn and grow." "How did she react?" "She packed a bag of art supplies and put them in your room." Serafina's heart melted a little. "She did? She wants to draw with you?" "I'd love that." The food arrived. It was delicious. They ate in comfortable silence for a while. "Can I ask you something?" Serafina said. "Yes." "Why does Soo-ah go to Hanul Academy? It's clearly not equipped for her needs." Do-Yun's jaw tightened. Her grandmother insisted. She thinks Soo-ah needs to be around normal children. That's outdated thinking. I know. But my mother is traditional. She doesn't understand. Will she be okay with this? With me? He met her eyes. Probably not. Great. But Soo-ah is my priority, not my mother's opinions. There was steel in his voice. Serafina believed him. What about the rest of your family? She asked. It's just my mother and Soo-ah. My father passed when I was young. I'm sorry. It was a long time ago. He set down his chopsticks. What about your family? My mom and 2 younger brothers in Atlanta. They think I'm crazy for staying in Korea. Are you? Maybe. She smiled. But it's my kind of crazy. His expression softened in a way that made her stomach flutter. Stop it, she told herself. This is business. But the way he looked at her didn't feel like business at all. Saturday came fast. Serafina stood in front of a house that made her apartment look like a shoebox. Modern architecture, tall gates, a garden that probably required a full-time gardener. The gate opened automatically as she approached. Do-Yun stood at the entrance. Welcome home. Home? The word felt strange and warm at the same time. This place is huge, she said. Too big for just me and Soo-ah. It'll be good to have you here. He helped her with her bags, leading her inside. The interior was beautiful. Clean lines, warm wood, lots of natural light. Your room is upstairs, second, water on the left. Her room was bigger than her entire previous apartment. Private bathroom, walk-in closet, a desk by the window with a view of the garden. If you need anything changed, let me know, Do-Yun said from the doorway. It's perfect. Soo-ah's room is across the hall. Mine is at the end. Got it. She's in the playroom right now. I thought you might want to settle in first. Actually, I'd like to see her, if that's okay. Something flickered in his eyes. Appreciation, maybe. Follow me. The playroom was a dream. Books everywhere. Art supplies. Sensory toys. A small reading nook with pillows. Soo-ah sat at a table, drawing. She looked up when they entered, and her eyes went straight to Serafina. Then she stood up, walked over, and held out a piece of paper. It was a drawing of 3 people, a man, a little girl, and a woman with curly hair. Is this us? Serafina asked softly. Soo-ah nodded. It's beautiful. Can I keep it? Another nod. Serafina crouched down to her level. I'm excited to be here, Soo-ah. We're going to have so much fun learning together. The little girl didn't speak, but she smiled. That small, precious smile. When Serafina looked up, Do-Yun was watching them with an expression she couldn't quite read. But it looked a lot like hope. The first week living in the Jeong household taught Serafina 3 important things. 1. Soo-ah was brilliant. The little girl could solve puzzles meant for 12-year-olds, had a photographic memory for images, and could draw with incredible detail. 2. Do-Yun worked strange hours. He'd disappear for entire days, then come home at odd times like 3 in the morning. She knew because she'd started having trouble sleeping. 3. She was being watched. Not by Do-Yun, by his staff. There was Mrs. Kang, the housekeeper, who smiled but asked too many questions. There was driver Cho, who appeared whenever she needed to go somewhere. And there were always men in dark suits lingering near the property. Is your father some kind of celebrity? Serafina asked Soo-ah one afternoon. They were in the playroom, working on a color-sorting activity. Soo-ah shook her head. Then why are there always people around? Soo-ah drew a quick sketch. A house with a fence, stick figures outside it. Guards? Serafina guessed. Nod. Why does your dad need guards? Soo-ah drew another picture. This one showed stick figures that looked angry, with X marks over them. A cold feeling crept down Serafina's spine. Before she could ask more, Do-Yun's voice came from the doorway. How's the lesson going? Serafina quickly covered Sua's drawings. Great. We're working on categorization skills. He walked in, loosening his tie. He looked tired. There was tension in his shoulders that hadn't been there this morning. Sua, go wash up for dinner, he said gently. The little girl gathered her drawings and left, but not before glancing between her father and Serafina with curious eyes. Once she was gone, Do-Yun's expression shifted. What did she draw? How did you know she drew something? You covered it. You only do that when you're worried. He was observant. Too observant. Serafina handed him the papers. He looked at them without reaction, then set them down calmly. We need to talk, he said. Yes, we do. They moved to his office. It was the one room in the house Serafina hadn't entered yet. Dark wood, leather chairs, a massive desk. Very masculine. Very intimidating. Do-Yun poured himself a drink. Want one? No thanks. I want answers. He nodded slowly. What do you want to know? Why do you have armed guards? Why does your 7-year-old daughter draw pictures of angry people? And why do I feel like I'm living in a fortress instead of a home? Because you are. The bluntness of it shocked her. He took a sip of his drink. I told you I work in import and export. That's true. But it's not the whole truth. Serafina's heart started beating faster. What's the whole truth? I run an organization. We handle businesses that operates in gray areas. Nothing that hurts innocent people, but not everything is legal. You're a criminal. I'm a businessman who sometimes breaks rules. That's the same thing. Not in Korea. Not in my world. He set down his glass. My family has run this organization for 3 generations. I inherited it when my father died. And the guards? Protection. There are rival groups who'd use Sua to get to me. Serafina stood up abruptly. You brought me into a dangerous situation without warning me. I brought you into a protected situation. Nothing will happen to you or Sua. You can't promise that. Yes, I can. His voice was steel. I would burn this entire city down before I let anyone touch my daughter. Or you. The intensity in his eyes made her breath catch. This is insane, she whispered. I know. I should leave. You could. He stood up, walking around the desk. But you won't. How are you so sure? Because you care about Sua. I see it in everything you do. The way you celebrate when she tries new foods. The way you learn her patterns. The way you protect her, even from me, when you think I'm pushing too hard. He was right. Damn him, he was right. If I stay, Serafina said carefully, I need complete honesty. No more secrets. If there's danger, I need to know. Agreed. And if anything happens that puts Sua at risk, I'm taking her and leaving. His jaw tightened. Where would you go? Somewhere safe? Nowhere is safer than with me. That's arrogant. That's the fact. He stepped closer. I have resources you can't imagine. People loyal to me. Systems in place. You're a teacher with an expired work visa. Where exactly would you run? The words stung because they were true. I hate this, she said. I know. I hate that you're right. I know that too. They stood there, tension crackling between them like electricity. Finally, Serafina sighed. I'm staying. For Sua. Thank you. But you owe me. Complete transparency from now on. You have it. She turned to leave, then stopped. Do-Yun? Yes. Don't lie to me again. I can handle the truth. I can't handle deception. Something shifted in his expression. Respect, maybe. Understood. That night, Serafina couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about what she'd gotten herself into. A fake marriage, a mafia boss, a child caught in the middle. This was her life now. She got up and walked to the window. The guards were visible below, patrolling the grounds. A knock on her door made her jump. Yes? It's me. Do-Yun's voice. She opened the door. He stood there in casual clothes, sweatpants, and a t-shirt. It was the most informal she'd ever seen him. Can't sleep? He asked. Too much on my mind. Same. An awkward pause. Want to talk? He offered. About what? Anything. Everything. Nothing. Despite everything, she smiled. That's very specific. I'm tired. Words are hard. She laughed softly. Okay, where? Kitchen. I make good ramyeon when I'm stressed. They ended up sitting at the kitchen island while he cooked instant noodles like it was a gourmet meal. He added eggs, vegetables, and cheese. This is ridiculous, Serafina said. You have a private chef. Mrs. Kong is asleep, and sometimes simple food tastes better. He wasn't wrong. The ramyeon was perfect. They ate in comfortable silence for a while. Can I ask you something? Serafina said. Haven't you learned that always leads somewhere complicated? Probably. But I'm asking anyway. He smiled slightly. Go ahead. Why did you really propose this arrangement? You could have just hired me as a teacher. Why the marriage? Do-Yun set down his chopsticks. Honestly. Always. Because the moment I saw you with Sua, I knew you were someone worth keeping close. And in my world, the only way to truly protect someone is to make them family. Her heart did something strange in her chest. That's very calculated, she said. I'm a calculated person. Is everything strategy with you? Not everything. His eyes met hers. Sometimes things just feel right. The air between them shifted. Serafina looked away first. We should sleep, she said. Sua wakes up early. She does. But he didn't move. Neither did she. Finally, Do-Yun stood. Thank you. For what? Staying. Listening. Not running away screaming. The night's not over yet. He laughed. Actually laughed. It transformed his entire face, making him look younger, lighter. Good night, Serafina. Good night. She watched him leave, then sat alone in the kitchen, wondering what she was feeling. This was supposed to be a job, a contract. So why did her heart race every time he looked at her like that? The next morning brought an unwelcome surprise. Serafina was helping Sua with breakfast when Mrs. Kong rushed in, looking flustered. Mr. Jong's mother is here. Do-Yun, who'd been reading the newspaper, went very still. When? She's pulling up now. He stood quickly, buttoning his jacket. Take Sua upstairs. No. Serafina put a hand on Sua's shoulder. If I'm part of this family, I meet your mother. Serafina, you don't understand. Then help me understand. Fast. He looked at her, seemed to wage an internal battle, then nodded. She's traditional, conservative. She won't approve of you. Because I'm black? Because you're not Korean, and because she wasn't consulted about the marriage. Well, she's about to be very disappointed then. The front door opened. Heels clicked on marble. A woman in an elegant hanbok entered the dining room. She was beautiful, probably in her 60s, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Those eyes landed on Serafina and went cold. Yama, Do-Yun said, stepping forward. This is unexpected. Clearly. His mother's voice was ice. I had to hear about your marriage from Director Kim. Imagine my surprise. I planned to tell you. When? After the first grandchild? Sua pressed closer to Serafina. The little girl could feel the tension. Do-Yun's mother finally looked at her granddaughter. Her expression softened slightly. Sua ya, say hello to grandmother. Sua didn't move. The older woman's lips thinned. Then her gaze shifted back to Serafina. So you're the woman my son married in secret. Serafina stood, keeping her voice respectful. Yes, ma'am. I'm Vance Serafina. It's an honor to meet you. You speak Korean. I do. How convenient. The words dripped with sarcasm. Do-yun stepped between them. Yama, that's enough. Enough? I haven't even started. Do you know what people are saying? That you married some foreigner without family approval. That you've dishonored our traditions. I don't care what people say. Well, I do. This family has a reputation. This family has secrets that would destroy our reputation if people knew the truth. Don't lecture me about honor. His mother's face went pale, then red. How dare you? How dare I? You've pressured me for years to remarry. Now I have, and you're angry. Not like this. Not with her. The words hit Serafina like a slap. Sua made a small, distressed sound. Serafina immediately crouched down. Hey, it's okay. Want to go draw? The little girl nodded frantically. Sua stays here, Do-yun's mother commanded. No, Serafina said firmly. She's upset. I'm taking her somewhere quiet. You don't give orders in this house. Actually, she does. Do-yun's voice was deadly quiet. Serafina is my wife. She's Sua's teacher, and she has more authority in this house than you do. His mother looked like she'd been struck. Serafina didn't wait. She took Sua's hand and walked out, ignoring the sharp Korean words being exchanged behind her. Upstairs in the playroom, Sua was shaking. Hey, hey, Serafina said softly. Look at me. You're safe. Everything's okay. But the little girl was spiraling. She pulled away, hands over her ears, starting to rock. Serafina had seen this before. She quickly dimmed the lights, turned on the white noise machine, and sat down nearby. Not too close. Just present. I'm right here, she said quietly. Take your time. No rush. It took 20 minutes for Sua to calm down. When she finally lowered her hands, there were tears on her cheeks. Serafina's heart broke. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry you had to hear that. Sua crawled over and did something she'd never done before. She hugged Serafina. It was tight and desperate and full of fear. Serafina held her carefully, fighting back her own tears. I've got you. I promise. I've got you. The door opened. Do-yun stood there, and the expression on his face when he saw them was something Serafina would remember forever. Pain, guilt, and something that looked like love. Is she okay? He asked hoarsely. She will be. He sat down on the floor with them. Sua reached for him without letting go of Serafina, so they ended up in this awkward three-person huddle. My mother is gone, he said quietly. Good. She was out of line. Yes. I'm sorry you had to experience that. Serafina looked at him over Sua's head. Is it always going to be like this? People judging, disapproving? Probably. Great. But I meant what I said. You have authority here. Your family. Fake family. Something flickered in his eyes. Is it though? Before she could answer, Sua shifted between them. The little girl looked exhausted. Nap time, Serafina decided. Do-yun stood, then carefully picked up his daughter. I'll put her down. But Sua reached for Serafina. She wants you, he said softly. So Serafina carried her to her bedroom, tucked her in, and sat beside her until she fell asleep. When she came out, Do-yun was waiting in the hallway. Thank you, he said. Stop thanking me for caring about her. I can't help it. They stood there in the quiet hallway, the afternoon sun streaming through the windows. Your mother hates me, Serafina said. She doesn't know you. She doesn't want to know me. Then that's her loss. Serafina studied his face. You really don't care what she thinks? I care about exactly two people's opinions, Sua's and yours. Her breath caught. Do-yun, I know this is complicated. I know it's not what you signed up for. Actually, I didn't know what I was signing up for. That's kind of the problem. He smiled slightly. Fair point. But I'm still here. Why? She thought about it. Because that little girl in there deserves someone who'll fight for her. And apparently, that's me now. Just for her? The question hung between them. Serafina's heart was pounding. What do you want me to say? The truth. The truth is, I don't know. This whole situation is confusing and scary, and nothing like I planned. But it also feels right, which makes no sense. Do-Yun stepped closer. What if I told you it feels right to me, too? I'd say you're my boss, and technically my husband, and we should probably maintain professional boundaries. Probably. So, why are you looking at me like that? Like what? Like I'm not just the help. His voice dropped. Because you're not. You haven't been since the moment you stayed at that aquarium. Serafina knew she should step back, should remind him this was a contract, should protect her heart. But she didn't move. Neither did he. The moment stretched between them, full of possibility and danger, and something that felt a lot like the beginning of something real. Then Serafina's phone rang, shattering the spell. She answered without checking. Hello? Serafina Vance? An unfamiliar voice. Male, speaking English with a Korean accent. Yes? You need to be careful who you trust. Her blood went cold. Who is this? A friend. Your husband isn't who you think he is. Check the news. Today's article about the Seongdong warehouse fire. The line went dead. Do-Yun's expression changed instantly. Who was that? I don't know. Someone warning me about you. His jaw clenched. What did they say? Something about a warehouse fire. She pulled up the news on her phone. The headline made her stomach drop. Arson suspected in Seongdong warehouse blaze. 3 dead. Do-Yun. Her voice shook. Tell me you had nothing to do with this. His silence was answer enough. Oh my God. It's not what you think. People died. Bad people. People who were trafficking children. That stopped her. What? The warehouse was a front for a trafficking ring. We've been investigating for months. Last night we moved in to free the kids. Someone set the fire to destroy evidence. We? You mean your organization? Yes. Serafina's mind was racing. Why didn't you call the police? Because half the police are on their payroll. His expression was hard. This is what I meant when I said I work in gray areas. Sometimes justice doesn't come through legal channels. You can't just decide to be judge and executioner. I didn't execute anyone. The fire did. And I saved 11 children who would have been sold. She wanted to argue, wanted to tell him he was wrong. But she'd seen the news reports about trafficking in Korea, knew the system was broken, knew sometimes good people had to make impossible choices. This is too much, she whispered. I know. I need time to think. Take all the time you need. She started to walk away, then turned back. Those children you saved, where are they now? Safe houses. We have a network that helps place them with families, or gets them home. You run a trafficking rescue operation? Among other things. Serafina didn't know what to feel. Anger, fear, respect, confusion, all swirled together. I'm going for a walk, she said. Take driver Cho. I need to be alone. Serafina, it's not safe. Is anything about this situation safe? She grabbed her jacket. I'll be back before dinner. She left before he could argue. Outside, the afternoon air was cool. She walked through the gates, past the guards who nodded respectfully, and into the neighborhood. Seoul was beautiful this time of year. The trees were changing colors, and people were out enjoying the weather. Everything looked normal. But nothing was normal about her life anymore. She'd married a criminal, a vigilante, a man who saved children but broke laws, a man who looked at her like she mattered, a man whose daughter hugged her like she was safe. What was she supposed to do with that? Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You have 1 week to leave the Jong house, or you'll regret it. Her hands shook as she screenshotted the message. Someone was watching her, threatening her. And suddenly, Do-Yoon's protection didn't seem so unreasonable after all. She turned around to head back and nearly collided with someone. "Sorry," she said automatically. The man smiled. He was young, well-dressed. "You're Jung Do-Yoon's new wife, aren't you?" Every instinct screamed danger. "Excuse me," she said, trying to step around him. He blocked her path. "We should talk." "I don't think so. Your husband took something from me. I want it back." "I don't know what you're talking about." His smile turned cold. "Those children, they were my merchandise." Serafina's blood turned to ice. This was the trafficker, or one of them. She backed up, but another man appeared behind her. She was trapped. "Now," the first man said pleasantly, "you're going to come with us quietly, and you're going to tell your husband that if he wants you back, he'll return my property." "I'm not going anywhere with you." He reached for her arm. A black car screeched to a stop beside them. The door flew open, and Do-Yun stepped out. But this wasn't the calm, controlled man from the house. This was someone terrifying. "Touch her," he said quietly, "and I'll kill you where you stand." The trafficker laughed. "Big words, Jung, but there's 2 of us and 1 of you." "Count again." 4 more cars pulled up. Men in suits emerged, and suddenly the traffickers were outnumbered. Do-Yun walked straight to Serafina, put himself between her and the threat. "Get in the car." Do-Yun. Now. She'd never heard that tone from him before. She got in the car. Through the tinted window, she watched Do-Yun speak to the trafficker. She couldn't hear the words, but she saw the man's face go pale. Then, Do-Yun got back in the car, and they drove away. His hands were shaking. Actually shaking. "Are you hurt?" he asked. "No." "Did they touch you?" "No, you got there in time." She stared at him. "How did you know?" "I had someone follow you. I'm sorry, I know you wanted space, but I couldn't risk it." "You were right." She showed him her phone. "I got this before they approached me." He read the message, and something dangerous flashed across his face. "This ends now," he said. "What does that mean?" "It means I'm going to finish what I started. These people think they can threaten my family and walk away. They're wrong. Do-Yun, don't do something you'll regret." He looked at her, and his expression softened just slightly. "The only thing I regret is putting you in danger. That won't happen again. You can't promise that. Watch me." When they got back to the house, Do-Yun made phone calls while Serafina checked on Sua. The little girl was awake, drawing pictures. But when she saw Serafina, she dropped her crayon and ran over. Serafina caught her, holding tight. "I'm okay, sweetie. Everything's okay." But Sua was shaking her head frantically. She grabbed a piece of paper and drew quickly. Stick figures, bad faces, and a drawing of Serafina with X marks around her. "You're worried about me?" Serafina asked gently, desperate nodding. "Oh, baby, I'm safe. Your dad keeps me safe." Sua drew another picture. This one showed Do-Yun with a shield in front of Serafina. "Yeah," Serafina whispered. "He does protect us, doesn't he?" The little girl finally relaxed. That night, after Sua was asleep, Serafina found Do-Yun in his office. "Can we talk?" she asked. He looked up from his computer. He looked exhausted. "Of course." She sat down. "I need to understand something." "Anything? Why do you do this? The rescue operations, the dangerous work. You're rich. You could just live quietly with Sua." He was quiet for a long moment. "My wife, Haewon, she was a social worker. She saw the worst of humanity every day, and it broke her heart. She made me promise that if I had the resources and power, I'd use them to help. The car accident wasn't an accident. She was investigating a trafficking ring and got too close to the truth. They ran her off the road. His voice was hollow. Sue-ah saw everything. That's part of why she stopped talking. Serafina's heart shattered. I'm so sorry. I spent 2 years finding everyone responsible, and when I did, I made them pay. But by then, I'd learned how deep the problem went, so I kept going. For her. For Haiwan. That's why you saved those children. Every child I save is one Haiwan would have fought for. It's how I keep her alive. Serafina stood up, walked around the desk, and did something impulsive. She hugged him. Do-yun went rigid with surprise, then slowly, carefully, his arms came around her. They stood like that for a long moment. You're a good man, Serafina whispered. In a complicated situation, doing complicated things. But good. I don't feel good. That's because you have a conscience. Bad people don't question themselves. He pulled back just enough to look at her. How are you real? What? You're standing in the home of a criminal, married to a man you barely know, threatened by traffickers, and you're comforting me. Someone has to. His hand came up to cup her face. The gesture was so gentle, so unexpected, that she forgot to breathe. I don't deserve you, he said softly. That's not your call to make. Serafina. The way he said her name made her heart stutter. They were close. So close she could see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. This was dangerous territory. But she didn't step back. Neither did he. And for the first time since this whole thing started, Serafina wondered if maybe, possibly, this fake marriage might become something beautifully real. The moment shattered when Do-yun's phone rang. He stepped back quickly, answering in clipped Korean. His expression darkened with each word. When? Pause. How many? Another pause. I'm on my way. He hung up and looked at Serafina with regret. I have to go. What happened? One of our safe houses was compromised. The children are safe, but we need to move them tonight. I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. Do-yun, I'm a teacher. There are scared kids I can help. It's too dangerous. You said you'd be honest with me. You said I was family. So let me help. He studied her face, then made a decision. Stay close to me. Do exactly what I say. Understood? Yes. 20 minutes later, they pulled up to an ordinary-looking house in a quiet neighborhood. But the tension was anything but ordinary. Han-jae met them at the door. We have a problem. Tell me. One of the kids saw the men who took her. She's having a panic attack and won't let anyone near her. Do-yun cursed under his breath. Where? Upstairs, 3rd room. Serafina followed him up. Inside the room, a girl who looked about 10 was curled in the corner, hyperventilating. 2 women stood helplessly nearby. We've tried everything, one said in Korean. Serafina knelt down slowly, staying several feet away. Hi there, she said softly in Korean. My name is Serafina. I'm not going to come closer, unless you say it's okay. The girl's eyes darted to her. I know you're scared. That makes sense. Scary things happen to you. A tiny nod. But you're safe now. See that man by the door? That's Mr. Jong. He's the one who got you out. He won't let anyone hurt you again. The girl looked at Do-yun with wide eyes. He crouched down too, keeping his distance. It's true. You're safe. I promise. We have to leave this house tonight, Serafina continued. We're going somewhere even safer. But we need you to come with us. Can you do that? The girl whispered something. Serafina leaned in slightly. What was that, sweetie? Will you come too? Yes. I'll be right there the whole time. Promise? I promise. The girl slowly uncurled. Serafina held out her hand, and after a long moment, the child took it. Do-yun's. Expression when he looked at Serafina was full of something that made her stomach flip. They moved all 11 children to a new location within 2 hours. Serafina rode in the van with them, telling stories and teaching them simple songs to keep them calm. When they finally arrived at the new safe house, a large facility with proper security, the kids were tired, but okay. "You were incredible," Do-yeon said, as they watched the children get settled. "They just needed someone to listen. It's more than that. You have a gift." Before she could respond, Min Seo approached. "Sir, we have confirmation. The leak came from inside." Do-yeon's entire demeanor changed. "Who?" "Jung Tae-young. He's been feeding information to the Park Syndicate for 3 months. "Where is he now?" "Secured in the basement." Do-yeon started walking. Serafina grabbed his arm. "What are you going to do?" "What needs to be done?" "Do-yeon, wait." He stopped, looking at her hand on his arm. "Don't do something you can't take back," she said quietly. "He put those children at risk. He put you at risk." "I know. But there are other ways to handle this. Not in my world." "Then maybe your world needs to change." They stared at each other. "Finally," he said, "come with me." "What?" "If you're going to question my methods, you should see what I'm dealing with." The basement was cold and concrete. The man tied to a chair looked terrified when Do-yeon entered. "Mr. Jung, please, I can explain." "Explain how you sold out children for money?" "They said they'd kill my family." "So you sacrificed other people's families instead?" The man started crying. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Do-yeon circled him like a predator. "Sorry doesn't bring back the 2 kids we lost last month because of your information." Serafina's breath caught. "Kids died?" "2. The Park Syndicate got to them before we could." Do-yeon's voice was ice. "Because of him." The weight of that settled on her shoulders. "What are you going to do?" she asked. "What would you do?" She thought about it, really thought about it. "I'd make sure he could never do it again. But I wouldn't become a killer. That's a line you can't uncross." Do-yeon looked at her for a long moment. Then he turned to the man. "You're going to tell me everything you know about the park operation. Every name, every location, every piece of information. And then you're going to disappear. New identity, new city, far from here." The man's eyes went wide. "You're letting me live? I'm letting you leave. If I ever see you again, or if I find out you're still working with them, there won't be a second chance. Clear?" "Yes. Yes, thank you." Do-yeon walked out. Serafina followed. In the hallway, he leaned against the wall. "I hope you know what you're doing." "I don't. But neither do you." He laughed, but it was tired. "Fair point. You were going to kill him, weren't you?" "I was considering it." "Why didn't you?" He looked at her directly. "Because you were watching. And I didn't want you to see me like that." The honesty of it hit her hard. "Thank you," she whispered. "Don't thank me. I'm still not a good man. Maybe not. But you're trying to be better. That counts for something." They drove home in silence. It was almost 4 in the morning when they arrived. The house was quiet. Do-yeon walked Serafina to her room. "Get some sleep," he said. "You too." "I will." But he didn't move. Neither did she. "Serafina, I need to tell you something." Her heart started racing. "Okay. This arrangement, this contract marriage, it's not what I want anymore." Her stomach dropped. "You want to end it?" "No. The opposite." He stepped closer. "I want it to be real." She couldn't breathe. "Do-yeon." "You don't have to answer now. I know it's complicated. I know I'm complicated. But I need you to know how I feel." "How do you feel?" "Like I've been walking in the dark for 3 years, and you turned on a light. Like my daughter smiles again because of you. Like I want to come home at night because you're there." He paused. like I'm falling for you, and I don't want to stop. Tears pricked her eyes. This is crazy. I know. We've known each other for 3 weeks. I know that too. Your world is dangerous. Yes. Your mother hates me. She'll get over it, or she won't. I don't care. Serafina laughed through the tears, threatening to spill. You're impossible. Is that a no? It's a, I don't know what this is, but I feel it too, and it terrifies me. Hope flashed across his face. Yeah. He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. When she didn't, he tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. Can I take you on a real date? He asked. We're married? A fake marriage. I want to do this right. Court you properly. Court me? What century are you from? Is that a yes? She smiled. It's a maybe. Ask me again when I'm not exhausted and emotionally overwhelmed. Fair enough. He stepped back reluctantly. Good night, Serafina. Good night. She watched him walk away, then closed her door and leaned against it. What was happening to her? 3 weeks ago, she was a teacher with a simple life. Now she was married to a mafia boss, living in luxury, protecting trafficked children, and developing feelings she had no business feeling. Her phone buzzed. A text from Maya. Girl, you haven't called in a week. I'm starting to worry. You okay? Serafina typed back. I'm fine, just busy. I'll call soon, promise. She couldn't tell Maya the truth yet. Her best friend would think she'd lost her mind. Maybe she had. The next morning, Sua woke Serafina up by climbing into her bed. Good morning, sweetie, Serafina mumbled. Sua held out a piece of paper. Another drawing. This one showed 3 people holding hands. But this time, there were hearts around them. Is this us? Serafina asked. Nod. It's beautiful. Sua snuggled closer, and Serafina's heart melted completely. Want to make breakfast together? She asked, enthusiastic nodding. They went downstairs to find Do-Yun already in the kitchen, attempting to make pancakes. Daddy's cooking? Serafina teased. Daddy's trying. He flipped a pancake and completely missed the pan. It landed on the floor with a splat. Sua giggled. It was the first time Serafina had heard her laugh. Do-Yun froze, looking at his daughter with wonder. Did you just laugh? He asked softly. Sua giggled again, pointing at the pancake on the floor. He scooped her up, spinning her around. There's my girl. There's my Sua. Watching them together made Serafina's eyes water. This was what family looked like. Not perfect, not traditional, but real and beautiful and worth fighting for. Do-Yun caught her eye over Sua's head, and the look he gave her was full of gratitude and something deeper. They spent the morning together, making a mess of the kitchen, laughing at Do-Yun's terrible cooking skills, and watching Sua come more and more out of her shell. The little girl even tried to say a word. Pancake! It was rough and hesitant, but it was speech. Do-Yun dropped to his knees. Say it again, baby, please. Pancake, Sua whispered. He pulled her into a hug, and Serafina saw tears on his face. She turned away to give them privacy, but Do-Yun reached out and pulled her into the embrace too. The 3 of them stood there in the messy kitchen, holding each other. And Serafina knew. This wasn't fake anymore. This was family. The peaceful moment lasted exactly 2 more days. On Tuesday afternoon, Serafina was walking back from the local market with Sua when a car pulled up beside them. Her first instinct was to run, but then she recognized the woman who stepped out. Do-Yun's mother. We need to talk, the older woman said. Mrs. Jong, this isn't a good time. I'm not asking. She looked at Sua. Hello, granddaughter. Sua hid behind Serafina's legs. The woman's face tightened. Still rude, I see. She's not rude. She's cautious. There's a difference. Don't lecture me about my own granddaughter. Serafina took a deep breath. What do you want? I want you to leave my son alone. I'll pay you double whatever he's giving you. I'm not leaving. Everyone has a price. Not me. The woman laughed bitterly. You think you love him? You don't even know him. I know enough. Do you know he's killed people? Do you know the empire he runs is built on blood and fear? Serafina's jaw tightened. I know he saves children. I know he's a good father. I know he's trying to be better. He'll never be better. This life doesn't allow it. Then maybe he needs someone who believes he can be. Mrs. Jong stepped closer. You'll get him killed. You're a distraction, a weakness. His enemies will use you against him. Let them try. You stupid girl, you think your feelings will protect you? You think love conquers all? She laughed harshly. My husband thought the same thing. He died protecting someone who wasn't worth it. I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm not leaving. Then you're a fool. Maybe. But I'm a fool who makes your granddaughter laugh, who helps her talk again, who gives your son hope. Serafina stood her ground. What do you give them besides judgment? The older woman's face went red. How dare you? How dare I? You show up, insult me, try to bribe me, and expect me to just accept it? Serafina shook her head. I respect you as Do-Yun's mother, but I won't let you bully me or hurt Sua with your coldness. For a long moment they stared at each other. Then Mrs. Jong said something Serafina didn't expect. You remind me of Haewon. Serafina blinked. What? My son's first wife. She was stubborn too. Stood up to me. Fought for what she believed in. The older woman's voice softened slightly. I didn't like her at first either. But you came to accept her. I came to love her. And when she died, I watched my son die inside too. She looked at Serafina with something that might have been fear. If I accept you, if I let myself care, and something happens to you, I'll have to watch him break again. I can't do that. Understanding dawned. You're not trying to protect him from me. You're trying to protect yourself from losing someone else. The woman's eyes glistened. She didn't answer. Sua peeked out from behind Serafina and did something remarkable. She walked over to her grandmother and held out her drawing, the one with the 3 people and hearts. Mrs. Jong took it with shaking hands. What is this? Family, Serafina said softly. She's drawing her family. She put you in it. Yes. The older woman looked at the drawing for a long time. Then she crouched down to Sua's level. It's beautiful, sweetheart, she whispered in Korean. Sua smiled. Mrs. Jong stood up quickly, wiping her eyes. I should go. Wait, Serafina said. Would you like to come for dinner this week? Nothing formal, just family. The woman hesitated. Why? Because Sua deserves to know her grandmother. And because I think, underneath all this, you're scared and lonely. I understand that. You don't know anything about me. Then let me learn. Another long pause. Then, Friday, 6 o'clock. We'll see you then. Mrs. Jong got back in her car and left. Sua tugged Serafina's hand and pointed at the drawing still clutched in her grandmother's hand through the window. I know, baby. You gave her something special. That was very brave. When they got home, Serafina told Do-Yun what happened. He listened quietly, then said, You invited my mother to dinner. Was that wrong? No, it was perfect. He pulled her close suddenly. You're perfect. I'm really not. You are to me. Before she could respond, his phone rang. He groaned. I have to take this. Go. But as he walked away, he turned back. Serafina. Yeah? That date I asked about. Are you ready to answer? She smiled. Ask me again. Will you go on a real date with me? Yes. His entire face lit up. Yeah? Yeah. Tomorrow night. It's a date. He grinned like a kid, then had to answer his still ringing phone. Serafina watched him go, her heart doing strange, fluttery things. She was in trouble. Big trouble. The kind of trouble that felt a lot like falling in love. The date was perfect. Do-Yun took her to a private restaurant on the Han River. Just the two of them. Good food, and conversation that flowed easily. Tell me something nobody knows about you, he said. That's a dangerous question. I'll go first then. I'm terrified of failure. That's not surprising. No, I mean really terrified. When Haewon died, I felt like I'd failed at the one thing that mattered. Protecting my family. It's why I'm so controlling now. Serafina reached across the table and took his hand. You didn't fail her. I wasn't there when she needed me. You can't be everywhere. You can't control everything. I can try. And you'll drive yourself crazy. He smiled sadly. Probably. Your turn. She thought about it. I'm scared I'm not enough. What? I'm scared that one day you'll realize I'm just a teacher from Atlanta who has no idea what she's doing. That I don't fit in your world. That I'm not enough. For Sua? Or for you? Serafina. His grip tightened on her hand. You're everything. You barely know me. I know you stayed at an aquarium for 2 hours with a scared child. I know you stood up to my mother. I know you talked me out of doing something I'd regret. I know my daughter loves you. I know I'm falling for you more every single day. He stood up, came around the table, and knelt beside her chair. I know enough. Her heart was pounding. What are you doing? Something I should have done properly the first time. He pulled out a small box. Oh. Oh no. Oh yes. This isn't the contract talking. This isn't about convenience or visas or appearances. This is me, Jung Do-Yun, asking you, Vance Serafina, if you'll really marry me. For real. Forever. Tears spilt down her cheeks. We're already married. Legally. I want your heart. Do-Yun. I know it's fast. I know it's complicated. But I also know that life is short and unpredictable, and I don't want to waste another second pretending this is fake when it's the most real thing I've ever felt. You know what? If you've made it this far in the story, and you're feeling all the emotions right now, do me a favor. Drop a comment and tell me if you think Serafina should say yes. And while you're at it, share this with someone who loves a good romance story. Now let's see what happens next. Serafina looked at this complicated, dangerous, beautiful man kneeling in front of her. She thought about the last month, the fear, the confusion, the growth. She thought about Sua's laugh, her drawings, her progress. She thought about how it felt to come home to them every day. Yes, she whispered. His eyes went wide. Yes. Yes, I'll really marry you. For real. Forever. He stood up, pulled her to her feet and kissed her. It was soft and sweet and full of promise. When they pulled apart, both were crying and laughing at the same time. I love you, he said. I love you too. Even though you're a criminal, and your world is crazy, and nothing about this makes sense. Those are all great reasons not to love me. Too bad. I do anyway. He kissed her again, and this time it was deeper, more urgent. When they finally came up for air, the restaurant staff was politely pretending not to watch. Let's go home, Do-Yun said. To tell Sua? To tell Sua. The little girl was still awake when they got back, drawing in the playroom. Sua, Do-Yun said gently. Can we talk to you? She looked up curiously. They sat down with her, and Serafina held out her hand, showing the ring. Your daddy and I decided something, Serafina said. We want to be a real family. All three of us. Is that okay with you? So-ah looked between them. Then she drew quickly. 3 stick figures holding hands. A house. Hearts everywhere. Yes, she whispered. Both adults froze. Yes, Do-yeon repeated. Yes. Family. The words were soft but clear. He grabbed both his daughter and Serafina, pulling them into a fierce hug. My girls, he said, voice thick with emotion. My family. They stayed like that for a long time. Later, after So-ah was asleep, Serafina and Do-yeon stood on the balcony, looking at the Seoul skyline. I still have questions, she said. I'd be worried if you didn't. Are you going to stay in this life? The dangerous work? I'm going to transition, move the legitimate businesses forward, phase out the gray areas. It'll take time, but I want So-ah to grow up proud of her father. What about the rescue operations? Those continue, but legally. I'm working with organizations that do it right. He pulled her closer. I want to be the man you believe I can be. I believe in who you already are, even with all my flaws, especially with them. He kissed the top of her head. How did I get this lucky? You proposed to a random teacher at an aquarium. Best decision I ever made. They stood in comfortable silence for a while. My mom is going to freak out when I tell her this whole story, Serafina said. In a good way. This sounds like a K-drama, and I can't believe it's real way. Is it real? He asked softly. She turned to face him. It's the most real thing in my life. Good, because you're stuck with me now. And So-ah, and So-ah, and probably my mother, once she stops being difficult. I can handle your mother. You can handle anything. He cupped her face. You're the strongest person I know. I'm terrified half the time. Bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's doing it anyway. Where'd you learn that? From you, she laughed. I'm a mess. You're my mess. Smooth talker. Only for you. They kissed under the stars, the city lights twinkling below, and everything felt right. Perfect, even. Friday came, and with it, the dinner with Do-yeon's mother. Serafina cooked, wanting to make an effort. Soul food with a Korean twist. Fried chicken with gochugaru, collard greens with sesame oil, mac and cheese because So-ah requested it. Mrs. Jong arrived exactly on time, carrying an expensive-looking gift bag. For the house, she said stiffly. Thank you, Serafina said. Come in. Dinner was awkward at first. Polite conversation, careful topics. Then So-ah did something amazing. She turned to her grandmother and said, Halmeoni, try this. It's good. The table went silent. You spoke, Mrs. Jong whispered. Serafina made it. It's yummy. The older woman's eyes filled with tears. You're talking. Really talking. So-ah nodded proudly. I'm getting better. Mrs. Jong looked at Serafina with an expression that was part shock, part gratitude, part something else. How long has she been speaking? A few days, Do-yeon said. Short sentences, but it's progress. Because of her? She gestured to Serafina. Because of consistency, therapy techniques, and a safe environment, Serafina corrected. So-ah did the hard work herself. The little girl beamed. Mrs. Jong tried the food. This is delicious. Thank you. You made this? Yes, Mom. Call me Halmeoni, or Mother, if you prefer. Serafina nearly dropped her fork. Really? You're my son's wife. You've helped my granddaughter speak again. You've brought life back to this house. She paused. I was wrong about you. Thank you for saying that. Don't make me regret it. Serafina smiled. I'll do my best. The rest of dinner went smoothly. By dessert, Mrs. Jong was actually laughing at Do-yeon's terrible jokes and playing a drawing game with So-ah. When she left, she hugged Serafina at the door. Take care of them, she whispered. I will. And let them take care of you, too. I'm learning. After she left, Do-yeon pulled Serafina into his arms. You just won over my mother. I'm impressed. Sua did most of the work. You did the work with Sua. Take the credit. She rested her head on his chest. Is this really my life now? Is it okay? It's better than okay. It's everything I didn't know I wanted. Good, because I'm planning to keep you forever. Forever is a long time. Not long enough. 6 months later, they had a real wedding. Small, intimate, just family and close friends. Maya flew in from Atlanta, still convinced she was in a movie. Girl, you married a what? She kept saying. A businessman. A rich, fine, love-struck businessman who proposed twice. This is insane. I know. Are you happy? Serafina looked across the room where Do-yeon was crouching down, fixing Sua's flower girl dress. Happier than I ever thought possible. The ceremony was beautiful. They exchanged vows they'd written themselves. I promise to love you in the chaos and the calm, Do-yeon said. To be honest, even when it's hard. To build a life worthy of you and Sua. To be better every day because you believe I can be. Serafina's voice shook as she spoke. I promise to stand beside you, not behind you. To challenge you when you need it, and support you always. To love your daughter as my own. To build this family with patience and hope and a whole lot of faith that we'll figure it out together. When they kissed, Sua clapped and yelled, Yay! Everyone laughed. At the reception, Mrs. Jong gave a speech that had everyone crying. When my son first told me he'd married this woman, I thought he'd lost his mind. But watching them together, watching my granddaughter bloom, I realized he found exactly what he needed. Someone brave enough to love him completely, flaws and all. Someone strong enough to call him out. Someone gentle enough to heal what was broken. Welcome to our family, Serafina, officially. Later, as they danced, Serafina whispered, No regrets? Not a single one. You? Just one. He pulled back, concerned. What? That I didn't say yes faster the first time you asked? He laughed, pulling her close. We got here eventually. Yeah, we did. Sua ran up, tugging on both their hands. Dance with me. They pulled her into their circle, the three of them swaying together. This was family. Messy, unexpected, unconventional, but real and beautiful and worth every complicated moment. As Serafina looked around at the people celebrating with them, at the man holding her close, at the little girl who'd brought them together, she realized something. Sometimes the best things in life come from the craziest situations. Sometimes you have to say yes to the impossible to find the perfect. Sometimes love doesn't make sense, until suddenly it's the only thing that does. And sometimes, just sometimes, getting fired for helping a child at an aquarium leads to finding your family. 3 years later, Serafina sat in the same playroom, watching Sua teach her baby brother how to draw. Gentle, Minjae, the 10-year-old said patiently. Like this. The toddler scribbled enthusiastically, making his sister laugh. Do-yeon appeared in the doorway, home early from work. He'd transitioned fully to legitimate business now, using his resources for good. The rescue organization was now a registered nonprofit that had saved over 200 children. Serafina had opened a school specializing in neurodivergent education. Life was full, busy, and beautiful. How are my favorite people? He asked. Daddy! Minjae ran to him. Do-yeon scooped him up, then pulled Serafina in for a kiss. Good day? She asked. Better now? Sua held up her drawing. Look what I made. It was their family. All 4 of them. Hearts everywhere. Some things never changed. It's perfect, sweetheart, Serafina said. Do-Yun wrapped his arm around her waist. Just like us. We're not perfect. Perfect for each other, then. She leaned into him. Yeah, we really are. Outside, Seoul bustled with life. Inside, a family that started with a proposal at an aquarium lived their beautiful, chaotic, perfectly imperfect, happily ever after. And Serafina wouldn't change a single moment of the wild ride that got them there. So that's the end of our story. If this touched your heart, made you smile, or gave you all the feels, I need you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button because trust me, you don't want to miss the next story. Drop a comment telling me your favorite moment, and share this with someone who needs to believe in crazy, beautiful, unexpected love. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.